Welcome to Davos. Welcome to Imagination in Action. My name is Michael Hayes. I'm the founder and CEO of Practical AI, and it's my pleasure today to moderate a panel of four amazing AI startup CEOs. I'm going to start by asking each of them to introduce themselves and to introduce their company by starting with "We help," and then talk about their customers, how they help their customers, and what innovative solutions they're bringing to market. So each of you can take a good amount of time, right, to sort of set things up, speak for a minute or two, just to give the audience a good feel for, your market and your go-to-market and what's really innovative about the way you're solving the problem that you're solving. So I'll start on the far end, just to make things complicated because he didn't have the microphone. So please go ahead.
Hey everybody, I'm Krishna Gade. I'm the founder CEO of Fiddler. We are an AI observability startup. We help customers build trust in AI. We help AI teams building agentic and Gen AI applications to continuously observe, guardrail, and govern their systems and ensure that they're trustworthy and transparent, and work with a lot of Fortune 500 enterprise customers in financial services, healthcare, HR, and US government. We've been around for 7 years, a CDC company.
Excellent. You can pass it next. So we help.
Hey, I'm Christian, co-founder and CEO of Autopilot, autopilotbrand.com. We help brands that are selling products on platforms like Amazon be discovered more easily, so they grow their organic sales and are essentially more profitable and more independent brands selling amazing products to the world. In our space, in the retail world, a lot of things are changing the way products are being discovered. We're moving from a world where you plug in something into a search and get 30 results down to a more contextual search, and where shoppers get maybe 1, 2, 3 different suggestions. And in that world, brands need to leverage the full breadth of their catalog data to bring into context what the product can be useful for. Is it a good Valentine's Day gift? Is it a good Easter gift? Is it great for cold weather? And we help bring out these contextual cases across the products in order to help brands make more money on selling them.
Hi there, my name is Cyrus. I'm the founder and CEO of Andiron, and what we do is we help customers, we help our business owners figure out what to do next, and really what to do next in the context of the data that they're already generating, and what the external market and the landscape is kind of telling them to do. So a very common use case would be like if you sold ice buckets on Amazon, or if you sold ice buckets on a Shopify-based store, and you're not in TikTok, or you don't listen, you don't check TikTok on a daily basis like some people do. There might be the ice bucket challenge that's trending on TikTok, and one of the things that we do is we help you identify, that this is a relevant trend to your business. But then on top of that, we also can take, data and understand what's been working inside of your Facebook ads account and let you know, hey, this is a relevant trend to your business. You should publish a ad, and we'll help you publish that ad, and then let you know if that was a good idea for your business or not. And so what we want to do is, like, there's a lot of signal in the data that's being generated inside of businesses with where they sell, where they market, and we just kind of help them kind of suss out the actions and what to do next for their for our customers.
Hi, I'm Gilly Yildirim, founder and CEO of Guardrails. And what we do is we help our customers, who are surgeons and medical device companies, as well as sports teams, understand what their patients are doing and create a digital twin of the patient from medical images and create solutions in terms of diagnostics, surgery in the form of sports medicine or arthroplasty, and then help them get back to their daily lives by understanding their kinematics, more so than an x-ray where it only gives you an understanding of sort of how the implant fits. Our goal is to work for motion, not just the form of the fits for the individual surgeries. So we achieve that by creating digital twins that are driven by AI. And we take those AI digital twins and then help the surgeons understand in real time so that they can make decisions on multiple different areas so that the risk in OR is reduced and the cost and the time for patient as well as the industry is reduced, which translates to obviously more surgeries and better outcomes for all patients.
Okay, so we'll as you've seen, we have quite a variety here. We have a couple of people that are somewhat related, a couple of companies that are somewhat related, and then we have somebody basically doing observability of agents, AI agents, which are taking over the world. But I'm going to start for conveniently with the gentleman with the microphone. And this same kind of question will come to each of you, which is, tell us a little bit about what stage you're at, right? Because you set up the company, but you could be, already a year in market and have a dozen customers, or you could actually just be this close to having your first live customer. So when it comes to helping surgeons, right, with a digital twin, so if I'm going to have surgery,
Right.
and your technology was going to make a digital twin of me to help them,
Yep.
would it be focused while they're doing the surgery? Is that the goal? You said in real time, or would it also be before the surgery that they can sort of do a dry run on digital Michael and sort of check things out and do almost like athletes, practice in a simulator to simulate it. So tell us a little bit more about how they would use it, and tell us about the stage. I'm going to come to each of you with this. Sort of, is it in hospitals already? Is it in testing? Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're a seed-stage company, and we got our FDA clearance. So we've been in multiple hospitals doing surgery live weekly. We have multiple partners. We're in what's called a mid-market release. So we're working with select hospitals to prove the concept until we extend it to all the customers that are interested. So the way it works is in 3 products. One is, as I said, you would go and get a medical image and understand what's wrong with you. Is there anything we need to do from a surgical perspective, or could it be an alternative in terms of diagnostics? Surgeon will use that and say, okay, maybe I'm going to give you medication or an injection. Or they could say, you know what, I think we need to go for surgery. And at that point, we would plan the surgery automatically, and that matches your own bone type and your kinematics. So that's different for everyone. So that system is already developed, and then intra-op system, which tracks where the bone is and where we're going to cut, is in development. So that will be available. And that's open to everything from robotics, which are already established in orthopedics, to navigation systems, to augmented reality, where I can show you exactly where to cut. So you don't need screens or robots to act, which is going to be the sort of future of healthcare. Reduce technology, but where it's needed.
Yeah. So that second stage, so that's very interesting. So it can help actually decide if I even need surgery or not, and that's live. It'd be nice if I didn't need surgery. But then if I do, talk more just a little bit about that second step that's already out there, because the third one you're working on, where, so, right now we have diagnostics, and right now I could already be told that I need a knee, some sort of knee surgery. What is it? And the surgeon's done dozens of knee surgeries before, hundreds of knee surgeries before. That step where now you're going to somehow inform the surgeon about either what type or to do something differently. Talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, healthcare, with no fault of their own, had to start somewhere. So it was a lot of landmarks and a lot of heuristics. So surgeons had a specific way of approaching the surgery every time. It saves time, it saves brain energy to say, if I do this every time, I'm going to get good results. But if you've done any statistics, you know that 66% of the time you're going to be lucky, 40% of the time maybe not so much. So there's a lot of underserved patients that needs a specific solution. And even in that 66, there are solutions that are not available. So what we're doing is removing the bias from the field, saying we're not looking for landmarks or how your joint moves, what is the sensor rotation, and how is it driven. We're looking at how are the muscles and soft tissues driving everything, and then understanding where an implant should go to make you feel better. So it's really a holistic situation of how does a person stand up, and then how can we encourage them to have less pain but more mobility without having to rely on established norms that are biased and not working.
Okay. And mostly right now it's orthopedic.
Right now, orthopedics, and we're getting into oncology and heart diseases soon.
Okay.
So we'll be, do you have a coronary artery issue, or do you have a cancer that's undetected? And if we can have low dose CT or an MRI, and we do a full body scan, we can say, here are the areas where we see there could be issues. Then it gives radiologists and surgeons to really hone in on the problem instead of looking at problems for thousands of people, which is obviously detrimental to the system, where they're going to be missing things. So we bit, similar to 2D products, but in 3D, you can really see things in much more clear detail. So we can give you alerts and say, we know you're concentrating on this, but it might be a problem here as well.
Okay.
We've seen this in a hip replacement case. There was a tumor or an object inside of the uterus. So we flagged the surgeon saying, you should probably look into this because we're not sure what it is. We don't diagnose, but we tell them we're seeing something. So then that could be a lifesaver when you're just getting a hip replacement. Maybe you need something else.
Right. Excellent. All right. Let's pass the microphones later, right? So tell the audience a little bit more about what stage your company is at. Have you started revenue generation? And get into a little more detail about if that's the case. I think you have some feedback from customers, right? About how have you, as the CEO, potentially taken response from the market and sort of changed the path a little bit about what you're offering?
Yeah, so we've been we're kind of in this we're exiting a pre-seed, about to enter into like being a seed stage company. We've been building alongside about 100 brands. We've been building a lot of the platform, a lot of the agents, the specific agents that we use to kind of listen to the signal, perform a lot of the actions. We've been building alongside about 100 customers, another 200 in the wings, just waiting for help and access into the platform. One of the things that's been really useful, in this sort of pre-go-to-market phase that we've been in is, we started out with, a chat-first functionality or chat-first interface and experience. And almost instantly, a lot of our customers basically told us, stop it. We don't want this. Like, this is not how we want to sort of interact with AI. And like, this is at the time where ChatGPT was really, I mean, it's still growing like a weed, but like, ChatGPT was really, with the chat-first primitive was, kind of the norm. And then we got this like very abrupt feedback from our customers, be like, no, this is not how they want the AI to be more silent. They want, within a certain set of guardrails and parameters, they want it to work in the background and only at key decision points or key areas, like, get the feedback or elicit feedback. So like small little moments of the human in the loop, but otherwise, like, so long as everything is working within the guardrails, keep acting. And so we've learned a couple of things. First, that we moved away from the chat first, experience.
Yeah.
And then we also learned that there is a progression where like if the silent AI, if you will, starts to perform well and performs within these like tight guardrails, the aperture starts to open up and the customers feel more comfortable with a little bit more autonomy, but there is no full autonomy. There's a lot more, humans still want to be involved. And what we've seen is like, moving away from the chat first thing, that the engagement with the platform just kind of shot up the minute that we went away from chat first.
That's interesting, right? So it used to be more in their face, and now when you put it more in the background, you're actually they're using it more.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a
counterintuitive.
There's like a bit of like this underlying perception of like that it's the AI that's doing the work, not them. That the chat made it feel like they were doing the work, and then there's all this demand for their attention, whereas like, and that's the inverse instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we all want an assistant that just quietly gets things done and magically things happen and we don't really have to do any work. That's a pretty good assistant.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
that's cool. All right, moving to my right. So you live in the world of Amazon, right? You're in the orbit of Amazon, which is
the Amazon marketplace.
Yes, and so that is its own special world. If I'm not mistaken, it was just a couple weeks ago that the news broke that Amazon had built some agents that when you go to buy something on Amazon and it shows that you can buy it on Amazon, they're actually having an agent go and buy it at a different site. And people didn't even know that was happening, including the sites didn't even know that was happening. So, I mean, it's just, my point is it's a very dynamic, very aggressive space that you're working in. Tell everybody a little bit more again about what stage you're at, what kind of feedback you've gotten from go-to-market, and maybe, I don't know, something about Amazon that not everybody knows, because everybody knows Amazon. Not everybody knows orthopedic surgery. So go ahead.
So we started working on the problem about 2.5 years ago. The initial focus was really around listing optimization. So whenever you and I shop on Amazon, we see a product offering referred to as the listing there, and some are have better marketing language, others are a little bit more sparse, and it relates a lot on how products are being discovered on the platform. So for us, the first big step was, how do we build a system that can autonomously update and contextualize these product listings in order to make them more relevant for the person looking at it and looking to shop. So increasing conversion rate. an increase in conversion rate leads to an Amazon's algorithm picking up on it and giving you more eyeballs, more views at the end of the day. So for us, that was the starting point, and we started companies called Autopilot. I'm a big aviation fanatic, and we started with an approach of not wanting to be a co-pilot, but we want to be the type of autopilot that you have on a plane, which is essentially flying 95% of the flight. And if you switch it off, then the pilots are in the driver's seat. Otherwise, it's the autopilot delivering on that, and it's much more fuel efficient. It's a faster flight. It's a more safe flight. And the same applies to Amazon, where we're updating now more than 100,000 products for brands like Adidas, Puma, Helly Hansen, to a number of other brands. And the big shift that has happened since we started 2.5 years ago is first Amazon released Rufus, which is its LLM to support shopping research, for example. That was about 18 months ago. So it became, how do we optimize for that world where shopping is not a page of 30 results anymore, but it's much more conversational. It's maybe 1 to 3 results that are actually getting surfaced. And that requires brands to put much more focus into actually bringing the context into their product data, into their products, to understand, oh, is this actually a great gift for Valentine's Day, great gift for Easter as well? Like, how does it perform in specific weather conditions, for example? So that's became for us the first focus area. And then layering on top of that, we built the insight that brands are really missing out on micro-seasonal opportunities. And that's where we then started combining both the advertising side around micro-seasons with the organic optimization side. And now, as you mentioned, the latest release from Amazon is a feature called Buy For Me. So agentic shopping is becoming a reality where agents are completing the task of purchasing. And again, for us, what this means is that the agents will represent the preferences of the shopper. So how do these preferences map against the product details of the product offering that is shown on the listing?
So I admit I buy things on Amazon probably too often. My wife certainly thinks it's too often. In the old days of shopping, you would respond to the advertising, you would respond to the description, you respond to how it looks. And so you could optimize, you could help your clients optimize for that. And you still do. We still do that, like you just said. But then there's another thing you want to optimize for, which you mentioned, which is Amazon's ranking algorithm, which is potentially a little different than what the consumer would see. And, they have Amazon a little tag sometimes. You see 32 little things show up, maybe not that many, a couple rows at the top. First are the sponsored ones. Then there's the non-sponsored ones. And then one of them has a little black Amazon's Choice or something like that. So that's an algorithm. And now there's a new one, the third one, which is the algorithm agents, like you want it. So how do you balance these different priorities when it comes to the way your algorithm, your software describes the product?
Yeah. So we think of it as casting a wide net with a product offering where people come in with different shopping modes in their mind. Like, sometimes a more technical mode where you want to understand a lot of technical details, sometimes like a more emotional mode, for example. And the role of the brand on a platform like Amazon is to make sure that there is content to be surfaced to all of those different shopper types. Amazon will, in some ways, take the last mile of some time framing the content like through an LLM to actually communicate it to the customer, where it can be a chat interaction. But the role of the brand is not anymore to have like one perfect storytelling that is, let's say, the Adidas storytelling, but it's rather to say, okay, here's our core story and values, but these are all of the features and benefits and how the product is used, when it is used, why it is used, by whom it is used, and kind of capturing that, because that's what the LLMs want to understand. If you ask me for the best shoes for Davos, like, it needs to understand that it's great for snow, great for ice, and it's going to surface 1 to 3 recommendations to the consumer.
Excellent. we could talk all day about shopping. We're going to move over to the world of agents. So, although agents is one of the AI-related subjects that is talked about most, just like AI, by the way, there is no really completely widely and completely, I mean, not everybody agrees on the definition of AI, which is a very interesting thing. And it's the same way, not everybody knows or agrees on when you say agent, people think of different things. So before you talk at all, why don't you define for the audience sort of when you talk about agents around your shop, around your company, what agents are you thinking about? And give an example of in one of your clients' agents.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started 7 years ago with the premise that AI is going to be the first class software artifact in enterprise, and it is happening through agents now, right? So as agents are these living, breathing AI applications, of course, backed by foundation models, domain-specific models, doing several tasks. Customer support is something that is very common. People are building support agents that would help, human customer support folks to, quickly answer questions that users ask, or sort of automate the customer support workflow. Of course, coding agents are all on the fire. Like every developer is using coding agents these days. And then there are, many of our customers, for example, we work with insurance companies that are building claims processing workflows. Work with a company called Nielsen that is basically providing agents for, insights for their brands. We're working with like MasterCard that is trying to automate fraud operations for their through agents. The fundamental problem with this is agents are non-deterministic, right? So unlike traditional software applications where you write code, you provide instructions to the computer, it exactly executes the way you expect it. With agents, because of the model calls that happen behind the scenes, what tools that they call, whether they're calling in an authenticated manner or whether the models are producing hallucinations or inaccurate responses, that's actually a big black box, for most developers. So what we help is to help AI teams to build these agents better in a more reliable manner. So we help them evaluate those agents before they ship them to production. And then while they're running in production, you can monitor them for all these different issues like, hallucinations, prompt injection attacks, PII exposure, and then set up guardrails so that you want to make sure that these agents are not going rogue and potentially putting your company under, brand risk issues, or, you probably lose customer trust, or, if you're in a regulated industry, you might put yourself into regulated, sort of fines and whatnot. So,
Right.
so that basically provides you with that, observability oversight layer so that you can move as fast as you can in a reliable manner as an AI team. So that's basically what we are finding success. We started with this in the model observability era in the classical machine learning world. Now with agents, we are seeing this field take off like very, very fast, and that's what is exciting.
So when you first started, right, as we've all, anyone who's worked in machine learning and AI for any length of time knows this black box issue, right? It's exactly how a neural network makes a prediction is very, very hard to understand. And so you were working on that initially,
right?
And so agents, right, which are built off of generative AI principles and models, as you just said, right, they just multiply
They take this
over and over again, right? So there's a classic example where an airline agent, customer service agent online gave a free refund, gave a free flight to somebody that it really shouldn't have. And so you needed guardrails.
Exactly.
That was when you just had one customer service agent. Now, thousands of agents running around independently. So the problem is and on their website, there's a counter that just keeps going up with the total number of agents. I think it's over 1 billion. It's wild to go watch. So it's definitely it's always nice as an entrepreneur when whatever market you're serving is growing, right? Because there's always competitors. And so it's nice, rising tide lifts all ships, right? That's a great thing.
Yeah.
I only have a few minutes left. I would love to give you each a chance to maybe ask if you have a question that you heard today. Ask one of the other CEOs a question would be great.
I mean, I'd love to ask, Gilly, since you're working in the healthcare space, how are you thinking about these issues like reliability and safety of agents? I'm sure that's probably come up with your customers.
I'll go ahead and share my mic.
Yeah, so that's obviously in the forefront of our minds both from regulatory perspective as well as just general safety. So, use of agents for us is in multiple levels. Obviously, we code using agents, but in the forefront, I'm getting inspired right now, just sort of thinking about what else we can do. And one of the things I have in mind is that we have multiple users. We don't really have one set user per se. The surgeon and the radiologist and the hospital, as well as the companies, all have to look at it from their perspective. We don't want to give one standard report that is sort of take it or leave it. Our structure has always been you can customize our user interface, but at the same time, I think it's value added to have agents where you can say, here are the things that are relevant to me. Tell me more about this condition or tell me more about this measurement. And then have it really respond to you with a report that's customized to your needs instead of saying, it's probably in here somewhere, figure it out. So then they can have actionable insights. Then, going back to your comments on insurance, that's the ultimate customer, right? So we have to make sure that whatever we're doing, insurance can understand and they can clear. So the faster we can get to that solution, the better it is. And I think agents are hugely needed for that side to make sure it's structured just the way they're used to seeing, because they're not going to look at it if they're not understanding it. So that agency for different structures is critical in healthcare, I think.